Hello, everyone. This is Chrism. I'd like to welcome you to this conversation about your Kundalini awakening experiences. I'm here right now instead of the Zoom because we kind of got hacked by somebody from England, surprisingly enough, and so they were trying to show us pornography and they were cussing and doing all the things that a 12-year-old would do. And yet you could tell by the timbre of the voice that the person wasn't 12, it's just acting, that way. And so, the positive aspect of this is that it allows us to learn what we need to do in order to keep the Zoom meetings from being hacked by people who aren't there to really appreciate anything except, the sound of their own voice. And so there we have it. So I'm moving it over to here for today. And one of the things that I want to talk about is what I started to talk about with the Zoom. And the Zoom subject we were talking about is how the Kundalini knows everything that is going on with your body, is going on with your system. How the Kundalini knows that how your bones are and how your muscles are and how your endocrine system is doing and how these qualities of grace are interacting with your knowledge and feelings and sensations that your body's giving you. And as I was saying on the Zoom, the Kundalini knows when your body is out of balance. It knows when you're feeling bad. It knows, what nutrient level you need to look at. It knows what kind of exercise you need to have. It even knows, what quality of social interaction is beneficial for you. And it's really important that when you're feeling bad or when you're feeling like, you're feeling unwell or you're feeling like things aren't going your way, what you really want to take a look at is what is it the Kundalini is telling you? Why is it allowing you to feel a certain way? What are you learning from that feeling, that sensation? What have you been doing to your body, to your mind? How have you been in balance or out of balance? And typically pain will often be a level of out of balance qualities. But it's not always bad to be out of balance. When a newborn is having their teeth grow in, even though that aspect of the body is out of balance at that time, balance is being attained by allowing that lack of balance to continue until it is attained. And so it's not always something that we need to stop. Sometimes it's something that we need to allow to continue. The best thing to do, though, is when you're feeling out of balance or you're feeling like unhealthy, you can go and check with your MD. But the first place to check really is with your Kundalini. And if you're not getting a response, if you haven't reached a stage where you can get some sort of a sensation or a feeling response, not necessarily words in your head, but a compelling that things are okay or things are a little out of balance, you need more vitamin D or vitamin E or vitamin C or a B100, whatever it may be. Maybe you'll need to stop eating just vegetables and eat meat, or maybe you'll need to stop eating meat and eating just vegetables. It goes back and forth with the Kundalini. Check with the Kundalini first. Look at what it is that is happening from your Kundalini first. And then if you're still getting in a panicky mode, you want to go to the ER, the emergency room, and have them do all their tests and things of that nature, which is common, say, with a heart rate that speeds up really fast. And you get a really fast heart rate and you're going, oh my God, am I having a heart attack? And then of course you'll go to the ER and they'll put the blood pressure cuff on you, which is called a sphygmomanometer. They'll put that on you, and they'll pump all the air into it, and they'll go, "Oh my God, your blood pressure is through the roof," And then they'll want to put you on a blood pressure med, and they'll get you on the exercise machine to see how your heart is acting when it's stressed out, and oh my gosh, that's normal. How can that be normal? They'll check your respiration, and oh my gosh, that's normal. Typically, most often it comes down to the idea that nothing's wrong with you. Oh, maybe you're just having some anxiety, Mr. Chrism. Maybe you need to just relax a little bit, and things of that nature. And so it's important to check with your Kundalini first. It really is. It's important to do that. It's important to give yourself the confidence and the competency in checking with your Kundalini first before you make any kind of a medical decision, because the Kundalini can see far beyond what a medical instrument can see. Okay, she knows. It's like having an actual healing agent or agent of healing inside you all the time. Okay, and so it's very, very, very important for people to understand that when they're feeling out of balance and they have the Kundalini. Kundalini knows you better than you know yourself, and it knows you better than an MD will know you. It knows you better than a psychotherapist or a psychiatrist or psychologist will know you. She knows you in the most intimate and private levels of your life. She knows how you're thinking. She knows how you're feeling. She knows what your karma is. She knows what you need to be feeling. She knows what feelings are optional to you. And most of the time, the negative feelings are optional, or optional to the degree that you don't need to attach to them. Sure, you walk past somebody. I was walking the dog the other day, and little Miss Ishta, very sensitive dog, right? And we walked past a woman who had entities, and they psychically attacked Ishta, the dog. And she responded like, "What the heck was that?" And she's looking at me and going, "What was that?" I'm just saying, just keep walking. Let's go. You don't need this. So, you need to trust your Kundalini first. Trust your Kundalini first. Trust, no matter how bad the vibration is, or the thought is, or the feeling is, trust your Kundalini first. Okay? And she understands. She understands if you need to go to the hospital, fine, then you can go to the hospital. Okay. But a lot of the time you won't need to. You won't need to go to the hospital. Okay. You won't need to take a pill or to take a shot or to take any of these things. Okay. Your Kundalini can make your body impervious to anything, including a vaccination, if you want to be impervious to that. So there is no limit to the goodness and the health that the Kundalini can give a person. Much of the time, our uneasy feelings or painful experiences have lessons that we need to learn within them. And this is what we really need to look at is, well, what lesson am I learning here now? Kundalini will bring people a certain level of headache. You'll have a headache, and it's like, God, what is this headache? What is this? Oh my gosh, and all the while you're doing a practice. You're alternate nostril breathing. You're doing the safeties. You're doing your kung fu whatever it is that's energetically generative. You're bringing that into your equation, and it's like, oh man, I've got this headache. Golly, where's that coming from? And basically, it's an expansion pain. Much of the headache aspect of Kundalini is an expansion pain. You don't have a tumor in your head, okay? Typically, within Kundalini. So you don't need to, carve in there, open that and go, oh, no tumors, sew it back up. You need to really understand that when you have the Kundalini has you in as complete a way as the mind can possibly understand. Every cell knows that you have the Kundalini, and the Kundalini knows every cell in your body. So trust it. Trust it with your health. Trust it with your with the process of your life. Give your life to the Kundalini. This is what I'm talking about when I say you've got to surrender to it. You've got to surrender everything to it, and that includes your health care, your health maintenance. This is why I'm telling you, check with your Kundalini first. And you may be wondering, well, how do I check with my Kundalini? And you just say, as clear as I'm saying right now, Kundalini, what is causing this pain in my body? Why do I have a sore shoulder? Why do I have a headache? Why do I have a tummy ache? Why is it, why am I having this level of pain? And give her an opportunity to compel an answer within you. And by that, I don't mean telepathic words coming into your head, but an idea of what it can be will all of a sudden appear. Just this idea will appear, and it's like, oh, wow, maybe I need, a certain vitamin. Maybe I need to do this. Maybe I need to do that. And it is very, very, very important for people to understand that she's watching you every second of the day. Every second of the day. Okay? There's never a time when you are not covered by your grace. And you need to understand that and give that understanding and that awareness, give it a sense of reality for you. Now I notice, I see Paul is coming on right now, and as you may have read on the group that, Paul is planning on leaving Facebook for a while, which I totally understand, and leaving Facebook and just kind of like, he's got I think an RV or a truck or something, and he's going, down, I think, the Gold Coast of Australia, and he's just gonna be with himself, be with his Kundalini, be with nature, be kind of like on his own without any kind of a internet type thing going on, which is great. I totally recommend that for people. And so, Paul, all confidence and competency for you. But even as you're alone and you're traveling down the coast, as you well know, Paul, the Kundalini's with you. It's with you, and it's not something that you're running away from. And I know it's not something you're trying to resist. What you resist is some of the mind pollution that the internet can bring, things like Facebook, and some of the toxic things like we experienced today on the Zoom. And so I totally get that. I totally understand that. But you're not without resources that will allow you to make your trip, your journey, healthy and complete and totally enjoyable and pleasurable. And I really want to materialize that for you, Paul. And I just want to say it's been a real pleasure having you on the group. And please come back, whenever you feel like it. Just let me know, if you're deleted, let me know that it's Paul Z, really. Okay. All right. So I'm happy to see you here today. So with regards to some of the scary things that will come along with the Kundalini health-wise, you may find that your breathing is different, your heart rate is sped up, or it's really slow, your blood pressure is really high or it's really low. Don't worry. Now, I know a lot of you out there are medical people, and you had your medical training, and you know that when certain physiological conditions arise, that this could mean this, some deleterious disease or some other type of scenario, and what you've got to really understand is the Kundalini knows this. No, Kunalini didn't go to medical school. Okay. Kundalini didn't go to nursing school. Okay. Kundalini doesn't really need to do that. For the force that created the physical body and created, the opportunity for a medical school to exist, it does not need to adhere to Western standards of medical practice. Okay? It will do what it wants to do with the individual, regardless of what a doctor or a nurse or any kind of a healthcare practitioner would do, especially those who are sleeping. I am sure that there are some awake doctors. I'm sure of it. I've met a few. And, they don't like to talk about it so much because, they won't be taken seriously within their field. But they're out there. Okay. And Kundalini knows one heck of a lot more about the human system than any sleeping human does, or even an awakened human still in a human body. So it's really important for you to give the level of trust and surrender to your Kundalini. Give that to your Kundalini. Really take that jump. And it's easy to do it when you're not feeling like anything is not right, healthy. I mean, if you're feeling fine, then it's, oh yeah, okay, I surrender. There, I surrendered. It's different when you've got pain. It's different when you're thinking you have some sort of disease, like let's just use COVID. It's like, oh, I got COVID. Oh my God. What do I do? And once again, you trust your Kundalini. You trust it. You trust it more than any kind of a man-made artificial type of protection or cure-all. Okay? Trust your Kundalini first. Trust it and allow it to help you, to assist you, and to inform you and educate you. Because it will. It will do all those things for you, but you've got to engage it. Now, some of the things that happen to a person, goes right against what we've been programmed to believe is necessary in society. For instance, fasting. We think, well, okay, I got to have my breakfast, and I got to have my lunch, and I got to have my dinner, and maybe a snack, and that's not necessarily so with Kundalini. She'll just take away your hunger. And worse than that, she won't even let you eat. You might feel sick if you try to force food on yourself, and the Kundalini doesn't want you to have food. Nothing's wrong with you. The Kundalini has determined that at that time, that space, that time, you don't need to eat. Doesn't mean you're going to starve. Doesn't mean anything unhealthy is going to happen to you. It's just stepping outside of the parameters that our social programming has given us. Another aspect of this will be sleep. People think, it's like, oh gosh, I need to have at least 8 hours of sleep a night. And the Kundalini might give you 4 or less. And you don't want to make the assumption that because you didn't get your 8 hours of sleep, that you're going to be foggy and, and unsteady at work the next morning. You don't need to be that way at all. Because Kundalini has changed the dynamics of your energetic consumption. She's changed the way your body metabolizes energy, how it produces energy, how it takes from the food the energy to feed the cells, and how those cells respond through enzymatic activities. It really has an effect on how you manifest your sleep. And she becomes the one who allows you to sleep or not. Okay? So once again, now you've got 4 hours of free time. Maybe that's the time that she's giving you to do a spiritual practice. Maybe you should be meditating. Maybe you should be doing some aerobics. Maybe you should be doing something creative that allows you to further yourself in your position, or to further your relationship with your family, or to just allow yourself to have that extra time to commune with the grace that is blossoming within you. Nothing's wrong. But your ego is going to keep saying, wow, wow, I really need that 8 hours of sleep. And you don't. You see, people ask me all the time, whoa, does Kundalini like give you superpowers? And I usually make a joke about skin tight suits and capes and, shooting spider webs this way or whatever the case may be. And the thing is that it does give you superpowers, but just not the kind that Hollywood would promote in the films that they put out. And one super skill is the ability to be awake without having 8 hours of sleep. Not only to be awake, but to be refreshed and feeling good and able to go out and meet the world. This is very, very important for people to understand that this is a superpower. It's also a superpower to be within a situation like we had on the Zoom today that we had to cancel early because I don't know how to manage the members. I have to learn how to manage the membership there on the Zoom meeting. But the superpower to not get angry, to not, have a hissy fit. Because we're around these people all the time. It's just that when you're in person with those people, they don't feel quite as compelled or with as much permission to be the kind of a, idiot that this person was. And it also, the other positive aspect is it's teaching me how to get a greater level of control of the membership of a meeting. And Natasha's writing right now. She says, I started losing weight if I don't eat 3 times a day and I'm too skinny enough. Well, if the Kundalini doesn't want you to eat, you won't be able to eat. You won't. And if the Kundalini wants you to eat more than you ever have eaten before, then that is what you will do. I mean, this is the thing that we have to really separate our egotism and what we think we need to do that is correct and works for us and the way to health, and give that as a surrendering gift to the Kundalini. This is how we separate our egotism from our holiness. Holiness is a psychology. To be holy in this respect is to give your wants and your desires and what you think is right, your opinion, to give your opinion to the Kundalini. Okay? You're giving your opinion to the Kundalini. You're giving this majestic feeling of, I know what's right for me, darn it. No God or goddess is going to tell me what to do. And I'm not suggesting we do that, but people do have a very, very strong, shall we say, commitment to their opinion and to their egotistic understandings of how things work for them, because it's, they've learned this over a lifetime. And you give that to Kundalini as a gift of holiness, as a gift of trust, as a gift of surrender. And the situation with trust and surrender is, in order to have trust and surrender, you don't get to have the answers. Okay? You don't get to have the answers. You have to trust. And you have to have faith in that trust. Now, see, Paul was writing, he says, I was scared of losing weight. I'm 6'4", skinny, isn't a good look. It fluctuates. It's not all about how you look. Sometimes, in order to find homeostasis or health within the body, she's going to make you lose weight. You'll look unusual for a while. Look at me. No, don't use me as an example. But you will lose the ability to control how you are. And this is good. It's not a bad thing. This is a good thing. This is showing you other aspects of yourself. So I wanted to make this video because these are some of the things that I wanted to say on the Zoom, and I'm just as happy to say it here. I know that there's not as much of a conversational quality. It's more of a monologue, but this is Sunday, and we did get interrupted by a hacker, and it's okay, because this is the first time I've done a live thing, and gosh, I don't know how long. It's been months and months, maybe even half a year. So there you have it, folks. No, I don't, there's not a lot of opportunity for me to answer your questions. But I just want you to know, I want you to give your grace, the trust, and the faith that you should give it, which is 100%. It didn't come upon you accidentally. You may think it's like, oh, well, I just, I sat on the toilet one day and got activated, and it's just, nothing is accidental when it comes to Kundalini. Trust it. It knows you better than you know yourself. And I know you can sit there and say, okay, yeah, it knows me better than I know myself. But to really believe that and to live your life within that understanding, that's climbing a very, very special mountain on the road of your enlightenment. Thanks for watching.